And hello, welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, legal and government correspondent, and today we have another candidate running in the spring election, Sarah Bruch. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great to see you again.
Yes, good to see you, Sarah. It was nice having a conversation off camera. Now we just like to talk on camera a little bit. First, for those who aren't viewing, you're a candidate for Hudson City Council, correct?
I am. I'm running for District 5, which is the downtown area.
And now, when people say the downtown area, Hudson is unique in that we have downtown and we have the hill, and everyone kind of knows the difference. But obviously, if it was just the downtown, you would only have about 10 residents, because it's a lot of businesses. So where does your district go from and exceed?
So down by behind Riverfront on 1st Street, all the way up through 9th Street, and up until right before the North Hudson border.
Okay.
So, and kind of a little ways actually out off of Bear Road too, some of those very first roads. So that's kind of the area.
Okay, so you have the kind of the old town of 3rd Street.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, of course, the downtown. A lot happening downtown. We'll get into that, but let's remind voters, you've been involved in the community in various ways for a while. Just give them a little reminder of what you've done in the community, and how long you've been here and so forth.
You bet. So my husband and I moved here in 1992 when our oldest son was just a baby, and he is now 30 and has made us grandparents. And in the community, I have done a variety of things, but most recently I used to be a small business owner. Owned a business for just shy of 20 years that we sold over the summer, and have been active in organizations like Sustain Hudson, the Rotary, involved in our chamber, and married to a school teacher in town, an elementary school teacher, and we've raised 4 sons here now who Of the 4, 3 still live in the area, and the other one is in Madison. So that's
excellent. Excellent.
A little bit about my background here in Hudson.
Yes, but you've run for different offices, but most recently, obviously, the City Council. What year was that you were first elected?
I was elected, let's see, so it's 2023, 2021. So I'm just about ready to wrap up my first term.
Okay. So, this year we have 3 seats up, right? Each year there's 3 seats on the council?
Yep, but this year we actually have 4 because we have the other one that was just an appointment until to the spring election. So we'll have 4 spots open.
4 this time, but not normally?
Not normally, that is correct.
All right, but nonetheless, so there's 6 total on the council plus the mayor?
That is accurate.
And the mayor only votes when there's ties?
Correct.
So the city council obviously is in charge of the city budget, and you ran on various issues that got you elected the first time. It was a contested race. Now you don't have an opponent. Let me ask you first, why is it that you think you have no opponent in District 5?
A variety of things, I think. One, I've worked really hard to be engaged with community members. I've done listening sessions, have tried to keep folks informed. When I hear from community members, I respond. Just really having that open door policy, and just knowing at the end of the day, my job is to represent everybody in that district and to really hear what their concerns are. So I've tried hard to be responsive. So I hope constituents and other folks, if they were thinking about running, are like, you know what, she's doing her job. She's doing what she's supposed to. So that's part of it. And I also think, as someone else who's an elected official on a local level, it can be a hard thing, and I actually think it's harder on a local level as opposed to on a state or federal level. And I think at that because we know people. Right. And so we know people that we used to be friends with, and now all of a sudden, because maybe we've taken a stand where they don't agree, all of a sudden that friendship has changed. Uh-huh. And so I think sometimes, it's a heart of service that I am always working on, that, is kind of just a different person that's willing to do that, put themselves out there and take a stand.
Well, 2 years ago at this time, you were an outsider hoping to get on the council. Now you're looking to be reelected, without an opponent. So hopefully folks get out there and vote on April 4th. But how do you see the work of the council differently now that you've been on the council for 2 years as compared to when you were a challenger?
When I was a challenger, I didn't realize how much would be related to things like roads, sidewalks, parks. I thought it was maybe going to be bigger issues, but really it's those things that impact your daily life. And so, but by that same token, since it does impact that daily life, we as elected officials work hard to develop relationships with our city employees. And so we can really make change sometimes quite quickly to really make things better for our community members. And I didn't really have a good handle on that beforehand. And so it's really rewarding when you can really help improve somebody's life in a short period of time.
Okay, so you're running for re-election. What has gone on in the last 2 years that makes you proud to have been on the city council? What actions were you most proud of as far as the direction that Hudson is moving?
I look at things through a sustainability filter, and I think we've made some major headways in that. And maybe we haven't had as much progress as I would like, but we're having conversations.
Okay.
And we've done some little things like when we purchase new vehicles for our police department, at a bare bones minimum, we're going to start with hybrid. And, at first, not everybody was excited about it, quite frankly, but we've had some good response. The police officers are really liking that and are seeing there's some little things, the pickup's much quicker, the ability to not have to go to the gas station or to our fueling spot in the city as many times. There's been some buy-in and seeing that these little steps aren't that big of a deal, but they can make a really big impact, and a big impact not only to our finances, but to the environment then. So I've liked really bringing that to the forefront. And as we're working on our public works building that we're going to hopefully start building in 2024, actually not hopefully, we are going to start building that in 2024, we're going to be looking at some things like maybe citywide compost for people that want to do that. And those are kinds of conversations that I've been able to start and really foster and really make sure that we move forward in that. So that's super exciting to me.
Okay, so that's what you saw some progress in the first 2 years. So
Jeannie,
talk about that. Yes.
Can I say one other thing
Sure.
that I think is really important? I don't know if you watched any of our council meetings. I know sometimes I've watched school board meetings. And one of the things that brings me such happiness is that our conversations have become far more collegial. And
Okay.
I really think that's important. I think that's the first step, is having a nice working relationship with each other, because then I think you're a little bit more willing to figure out, where you can agree and where you can compromise, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Well, that's good. And that is, again, for folks on the outside, I think that they are a bit frustrated with, particularly in partisan politics.
Right.
It's less so maybe in the nonpartisan, but they're tired of every issue being looked at from a partisan lens and taking extreme positions. But when it comes to politics, that's the greatest loss, is the loss of communication. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's good that you're having conversations. Well, you mentioned that sustainability lens. So what do you see moving forward in the next 2-year term? Where would you like to see further progress then?
Well, so with the sustainability lens, there's 3 aspects: people, planet, and the economy. And really the big message is how everything is so interconnected. You can't touch one without it kind of having this ripple effect. But big issues from a people and a quality of life, we need to figure out how we're going to fund that library. I'm super committed to supporting that and making sure that we're respectful of our taxpayers. So we're awaiting some communication from the state on what are our best avenues on moving forward with that. So that's a priority. Protecting our waterways. Our river is one of the most beautiful parts of our city, and not only is it good for the environment, it's really good for tourism too. So it's a win-win, and making sure that we're protecting that so people can fish there, people can swim there, it's enjoyed by wildlife, so that's an important thing. And from also from a people perspective is our infrastructure, our roads. They need work, and we're working on being far more proactive, and we've budgeted, so we've had almost $1 million budget increase on an annual basis, and I'd like it to be more.
Just in the public works you're talking about?
Just in our roads and our infrastructure. Okay. I wish we could do a lot more, but we're balancing it with taxpayers, and we're ultimately, over the next 5 years, we'll be increasing that significantly more. Other things that I think are important are public safety. People want to feel safe, want to be here, and we got to make sure that we're doing a good job delivering that. And part of that is even something as little as speed enforcement, not being crazy about it, but making sure that our roads are safe for people to be out on. With respect to the economy portion, it's about a very smart and thoughtful growth perspective. We need development. We do. We have some properties downtown that we need stuff. We need updates there. Yet, we got to balance that with making sure that we're protecting our scenic riverway. We're not impeding, natural sunlight because we've gone too high. A whole variety of things, and making sure that it's not infringing in the neighborhoods. So it's a lot of balancing and making sure that everything is really thoughtful.
Well, one thing you mentioned, the river as like the second thing on your list there, and the fact that that's such a primary, both natural resource but also economic resource. And I know that our mayor has treated it that way. And so, are you kind of in line with the mayor's vision of responsible development of the downtown, respecting the river and making it kind of the showpiece for attracting people to the town, but also making this a high-quality place to live?
Well, that overarching statement is, I know we have a shared goal on that. We might have some different approaches on how to do that, but we definitely share that in common. But I want to make sure that we really are really more prioritizing the environmental aspect of it. But, when we do that, then people are going to want to be there, so.
Right. And then, of course, you mentioned the roads, and we're just about starting here. It could be the biggest snowstorm in a decade or so.
Lucky us.
Yes, and the plows will be out multiple times. But that's what people want, are safe, open roads in the winter. And we've had two major construction projects in the last 5-6 years. We had Vine Street, followed by then 2nd Street. Yeah. But still a lot of investment yet to go on those roads.
A lot of investment. We have been a community that has been very conservative on budgeting our roads, and just very focused on protecting the taxpayers, which I agree, and I think it is very important. Sometimes that approach can be penny wise and pound foolish, and we are in a spot where we are doing some catch up. We just simply, there's no way around it. Mm-hmm. We have a new city engineer, but our prior city engineer went road by road and worked on it's called a PACER scale. Have you heard this before? Maybe from some of the other council members?
Okay, yeah.
And so a 10 is a perfect road, and a 1 it needs a lot of work. And for the most part, our roads, if we were to put them all together in the city of Hudson, we're at about an average of a 5 or a 6. So we need to invest. Mm-hmm. We do.
Okay. So, and then you mentioned the people aspect, mentioning the river at the same time. What other aspects, like where do you see the city's responsibility ending, maybe the county or the state's picking up when it comes to whether it's the social programs or aspects to, municipal governance?
Mm-hmm. You know, I see that social programs are a role of government, and last year we adopted a comprehensive plan, a 2040 comprehensive plan, and in that comprehensive plan, community members, hundreds and hundreds of community members were interviewed. Surveys were done, interviews were done in person, a variety of different means. Our Plan Commission was part of it, elected officials were part of it, city employees were part of it. And the feedback that we received did involve some social aspects. And, there's some disagreement on the role of government, but, I believe there's support not only in the Wisconsin state constitution, but in local ordinances and in the comprehensive plan. And we've had community members who've come forward and have asked us to do something about it. And I feel like I'm just a voice of the community members. And right now I'm a minority voice on that perspective in our council. But, the progress is that we're at least having civil discussions about it and determining a pathway forward. So.
Well, that's great. And on public safety, you might have mentioned this, but I want to emphasize the police department where it's located. It's,
Yep.
moved at least once since I moved to town, but now what was going to be a shorter term fix has turned into a longer term with sharing, the building with the library. So what is the plan, and what are some of the aspects that led you to vote for the new building?
They're out of space, just like a lot of stuff, and there's not adequate spot for the vehicles to be stored, and training, and a variety of things. And I feel when you invest in your employees and in that kind of infrastructure, it builds stability, and people want to work for you. And I recognize that not a lot of people want to be law enforcement right now. And so I think it's crucial that we invest in that. And that's one of the ways we can, as well as training and all sorts of other things. People that on the council that are going to be far more knowledgeable on this than me are Randy Morissette and Joyce Hall. They're both on the Public Safety Committee.
Okay.
I'm on Public Works.
Okay.
But I do know, we voted. It was unanimous. And shortly after we finish up the Public Works building, we'll begin on the new police department.
Okay, excellent. We just have a minute or two left. Is there anything more? How do voters get in touch with you if they're from District 5, or if they're not from District 5
Sure.
but still want to talk about some of the issues you've raised here today? How can they reach you?
Well, anything related to local government, they can email me through the city website. There's a spot to choose council members, and you can go to all the council people, or you can pick your district. But I think it's District 5 at hudson.wi.gov. But the other thing is I'm also on Facebook, and it's Sarah Bruch for Hudson, and so that's a spot that people can reach out to me as well. And also on the city website, I have my cell phone as well.
Okay.
Hey, Jamie, I just want to make sure that people know I really hope they get out and vote. I know I'm unopposed on April 4th, but there's a lot of really important things on the ballot. School board.
Yes.
School referendums.
Yes.
We have county referendums. We have a state Supreme Court. So not only do I urge people to vote, but I really want people to get 6 of their friends out and vote. It's super important.
Well, very good. I appreciate you making that plug to our viewers. And I also appreciate you're willing to serve in government. Again, not always a well-thanked job, but not thankless. There are people that do appreciate it, but I just want to extend my appreciation. I'm not a city resident, but I know how hard you guys work, and like the fact that while you might not have a lot of unanimous votes, you have equal opportunity for communication and for input, and so hopefully we move in a direction that's best for all Hudson residents.
Absolutely, and thanks for your service too.
All right, well, thank you. I want to thank our viewers for watching another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, and this has been our interview with Sarah Bruch, who's on the Hudson City Council. Keep watching.